Shalom, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'Shem Yahushai, Ba'Shem HaRakakadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders, great millstone at all well, and Shalom to all the brothers doing the way to serve in truth. So, I'm one from the Jimis London camp. Because like we're in the sun, going into what? Into Neuralink. And this thing's been, this Neuralink's been the focus for a minute. Fucking hell. This thing has been the focus for a minute because this was like one of the earliest like chips to basically go out there and get pushed out, and it's what has been sold, marketed probably the hardest out of any of them, because when it first got released, didn't even really know those other ones, but this one's got marketed the hardest, and a big part of the marketing is what? Is people thinking they're gonna get on some superhuman level. They're gonna be able to, get this, and then they're gonna be ascending, to godhood basically. That's really what they're out here trying to, thinking is gonna be achieved and accomplished. But, so what's the reality? Jesus. Okay, one sec. Reality is it's going to be used, as a form of control. It's going to be used to, to enslave them, to basically get them on a base level. So that says ThinkLink. Elon Musk boasts his Neuralink brain chips will 100% cure common illness. Elon Musk has claimed that he will cure a common and debilitating disease using computer chips hooked up to people's brains. Like our brains to people's brains. But yeah, nah, for real. That's and it's something that when it first came out, people weren't really just open to it. But now obviously people are completely broken, man. These things are now the normality. Esau kind of sold it to where he set the expectations that people are just gonna they're thinking that fusing with technology is just where life's gonna go, because they're legit they were just thinking like, just through the process of time you're just gonna, it starts off with you get a smartphone or whatever. It's like, whoa, you go back to those original cell phones that had like the big brick packet and a backpack to power it and whatnot. Then you get like the little flip phones, the Sony Ericsson, just Ericssons and whatnot. And because of the process of how technology moves, they essentially just kind of been looking at things like, eventually it'll just get so small. It's like it just gets smaller and smaller. You just have it inside you. And then watch, like sci-fi movies where guys have shit in their eyeballs and, and they've got shit implanted in brains and they're, shooting laser beams and whatnot. And people are like, oh yeah, it's just a matter of time. Meanwhile, but then we actually look at what Elon Musk's doing. He did the whole presentation with a monkey. I'm like, bro, that ain't like that's the most crudest. Like that's like that's like you're building from wood, but you're just you're just ripping a branch off a tree. You ain't even taking off the bark, stripping the bark. You ain't treating it. You ain't even cutting it into planks or different forms to utilize it. You're just using it in the basest form, because that's what Esau's been given, and the things that he's gonna do with the technology anyway. With this, what he's trying to achieve versus what he's gonna do is what it's gonna be base as hell. So it says what So in a recent tweet, the billionaire said that his company Neuralink will fix tinnitus, a condition that causes ringing in ears, by 2027. So yeah, I think tinnitus is when you just get that ringing. It's like people that not even go deaf. I think it's ear damage or something. I can't remember, man, how you get that shit. But yeah, it's like with that, it's what is selling that dream, man. And these are the things that people read. They're thinking like, yeah, you're gonna have it in like 10 years. You're just gonna be doing X, Y, Z. You're gonna be levitating. You're gonna be shooting laser beams through. That's the way people are viewing it. But bro, it's this thing is the whole point of it is for the sake of prophecy. So it says Musk set up Neuralink in 2016 with a goal of creating brain machine interfaces that connect humans and computers. Yeah, that's the goal. Fucking hell! But like, that ain't nowhere near what's actually been achieved. Like, I mean, it's to a certain point, it's like just an electrical signal. But these men were talking about, downloading your spirit into an android, man. The shit you see in like Transcendence and the fuck's the other one called? The Netflix one, Altered Carbon as well, where you just put yourself in a computer chip and just slam yourself in the back of someone's neck. These are what people think is gonna happen, and it's that dream. That's the thing, is that's part of the image of the beast. They're all caught up in the image of the beast. They're thinking like, oh, this, this is where it's gonna go. That's why people are talking about the whole trans thing. They're saying, eventually we get to the point where, you just actually be able to genetically modify a man into a woman and all these things. But you think about that shit for 2 seconds and you're just like, yo, what the fuck, like, bro, I ain't no god that like shit ain't happening for no one. But hey, that's the that's the mindset the people are in. So this is what early trials have implanted coin-sized devices into the heads of monkeys, allowing them to play video games using only their minds. The company says the technology will one day help people with paralysis and other neurological conditions. And that's always, whenever these technologies are being developed, they always say, I'm like, bro, the amount of fucking money going into this, you think about it for 2 seconds. No one's playing billions, so some crippled niggas can use a Netflix. This shit's obviously being done, so the elite, they're trying to make it so they're completely immune to death. They're trying to make it so death has no hold over them. That's the dream. That's what they desire. But meh, that shit ain't gonna run, dog. Neuralink. So on April 24th, Musk tweeted that Neuralink will definitely cure tinnitus, which affects 50 million people in the US. It's estimated that 1 in 3 people worldwide will experience tinnitus at some point in their lifetimes. A cure might be less than 5 years away, Musk said, due to the rapidly growing complexity of Neuralink's chips. The Tesla chief has previously claimed that brain implants could one day cure diseases ranging from obesity to insomnia. Man said obesity is a disease. So that sounds like they're just trying to have it where you can moderate the hormones through the chip, and that's the things Esau's essentially, and that's been like what Esau's been on. It's like with what's the term called, genetically modifying things and whatnot. There was a whole what do you call it? Jesus. There was a whole push of like GMOs to try and make essentially. And the thing is when they were pushing it, it wasn't even like they knew what they were achieving. They were just trying to, they were just fucking with some shit, just being like, okay, let's try and make and see if it what we can achieve. But then, in reality, what? They did some things. It seemed like, oh yeah, this is great. Then there's impacts down the line where you're just like, okay, no. It's it's not all that glitters is gold. Because why? Because you're basically just playing with things. You don't have an understanding. You're just experimenting just to experiment. So it says what? Genesis 6 and 3. It says, and the Lord Yahweh said, my spirit shall not always strive with man, for that he is also flesh, yet his days shall be 120 years. Yeah, so that was the first time the years got cut. on men, and it says what the spirit will not always strive in men because they're flesh. Yeah, man, of flesh out here. That's how peak it is. It's like, yeah, man are just flesh. So it's there's certain things through the spirit ain't even gonna be able to yeah, man of flesh. So it's just like certain things you know, just not even gonna be able to drive with just because of, you know, the chains of darkness. We're just out here uh jacked up, man. And it's what Esau's trying to do is overcome those limits that Yahweh Hashem Yahushua set. But it says what 1 Corinthians 15:56, the sting of death is sin, and the strength of sin is the law. Yeah, so the sting of sin is death. That's the reason why we're getting what? We're getting jacked up. Because why? Because of sin. That's why man's life got cut short. It says in thingy, actually I can grab it. What is it? Sirach 20, I think it's 25. About what? Through her we will die. Oh yeah. Sirach 25:24. Of the woman came the beginning of sin, and through her we all die. Yeah. The women are the means by which death came in, man. Because Adam wasn't deceived, but it was Eve. So that's hey, where death came in. Because you know, we're meant to be perfect, but you know, that's how the Lord had to go down. Why? So His name, so Yahweh's name can be glorified. But what? Even if you know, you're joining onto, you're messing with Esau's shit. That's the thing as well, is that that mark. Let me get this actually. Revelation 14. So with was it 9? No. Yeah. Revelation 14:9, it says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, and receive his mark in their forehead or in his hand, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of the Most High, which is poured out without mixture into the cup of his indignation, and he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone in the presence of the holy angels, and in the presence of the Lamb. Yeah, so messing with that mark, messing with that chip, it seems like salvation. What if to those that are caught up in the image of the beast, they're basically wandering after the beast. They're enamored. They're caught up in all the propaganda that's being pushed out. What for that beast? But then what? Even if you you receive it, what's gonna happen? You're gonna be tormented with fire. You're gonna get judged. It's not gonna lead to what you think it is. That eternal life, that perfection, that whatever. It's going to be something that's utilized as what? As a way to separate those who are basically completely within the the spirit of the of the beast and following his ways, and those that aren't. And then finish on this Isaiah 13 and 15. It says, well, everyone that is found shall be thrust through, and everyone that is joined onto them shall fall by the sword. Yeah. Ultimate form of joining on is what? Is that permanent servitude. Just like, what is it? Exodus 21:16, I believe. Where it says, if you'll plainly say, I love my master, and then put the, plainly say I love my master and put it all in the ear, to basically be like, yeah, I'm a, what do you call it? Plainly say I love my master and put it all in the ear, to basically say what? You'll be his servant forever. That's the equivalent of the mark, man. Rather than taking on the fawwad, the exemption from judgment, you're taking on what? the what do you call it? The mark saying you'll serve Esau forever. Therefore, you join on to his destruction. But yeah, I'll leave it there. Shalom. Shalom.